Hey everybody, Joe from Complete Carnivore here. Today we got a delivery from Snake River Farms. They're one of my favorite online meat retailers. I've been working with them for over 7 years. They're one of the first companies I ever ordered meat from when I started this channel and this site. So they are kind of the pioneers of American Wagyu. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's a cross between Japanese Wagyu cattle and American Angus cattle. So you get kind of the benefits from both. You get the faster growing Angus. You get the more marbling you get from the Wagyu. It's not anything like Japanese A5 Wagyu, the really fancy $200, $300 a pound stuff you can see sometimes. But it's definitely a step above standard choice and prime that you get from at a grocery store or at Costco or wherever. They also sell the prime and choice through their Double R brand. They have some dry aged steaks as well, but American Wagyu is kind of what they're known for. So let's get into this box and see what we have. Here's a cooking guide. I don't know if I've ever looked at this, but it kind of just gives you some pointers on how to cook some of the different cuts of meat. What do we got here? Oh, just a little thank you card talking about their business. All right, everything ships usually with dry ice. The dry ice is all gone for now. I've only had one package ever come from Snake River Farms that wasn't fully frozen, and they were excellent about replacing it. I emailed them and they sent something out the next day. I think it was some pork ribs that I was having troubles with. But even if stuff isn't totally frozen, like these aren't frozen all the way, like this is thawed here, it's frozen over here, definitely cold enough. There's no danger, no health concerns with anything here. So let's start out with some rubs. This is their seasoning blends that they sell. I have used the Santa Maria seasoning on a tri-tip before, and it was excellent. It was one of the best tri-tips I've ever had. I haven't used any of the other rubs, the steak seasoning, pork rub, or rosemary roast. I already have a box of this up in my cupboard up over there. But yeah, the Santa Maria rib, I know that one's excellent for tri-tip. I'm looking forward to using that one again on a tri-tip, probably the tri-tip we have in this box. So what do we got? Like I said, we have an American Wagyu tri-tip. It's about 3 pounds. So that's a pretty good sized tri-tip. Most tri-tips are kind of in the 2.5 pound range. Some are 2 pounds, some can get up to 4. But these are wonderful tri-tips. You can see all this marbling in the meat. For these, I like cooking them probably closer to medium, even 135, 140. I know a lot of people like tri-tips in 125 temperature wise in the rare range, but with the American Wagyu ones, there's so much fat in it. You can cook it a little more and it's still going to be juicy, tender, delicious, everything you want from a tri-tip. But I think the texture is better when you get up kind of the higher temperatures. So it's kind of a preference thing. You can do what you want with it. But yeah, I'll season that with a Santa Maria roast. That's kind of what I believe that seasoning was developed for, was tri-tips. What else do we got? Hamburger patties. These are, yeah, the American Wagyu beef patties. They also sell, I know in our grocery store we can buy the American Wagyu beef. They also have a blend of just regular ground beef and the American Wagyu. But this is the American Wagyu patties. It's a little bit finer grind than you see on most burgers, so the final texture is a bit smoother. I kind of like a chunkier grind, but I've had these burgers before. They're delicious. I think there should be another. Yeah, there's another pack of those in here. What else do we have? Oh, let's go with hot dogs. This is another thing. There's a ton of people I know that really love these hot dogs. I'm not the biggest fan of these in particular. I kind of like hot dogs simple. These have it's a good flavor. It's just not the flavor I want from a hot dog if I'm just gonna be grilling something, especially for the kids. I think actually I made these for the kids once and they really liked them. But I would definitely recommend trying them sometime and seeing what you think. Again, they're not my favorite, but I know a lot of people swear by these and really like them. So kind of just a preference issue on those. What do we got? Well, let's look at this. What do we got here? Boneless beef New York strip slices. So these are just New York steaks, but they slice them thin. I'm not sure how thin. They're all frozen together, so it's kind of hard to see. Oh, you can kind of see a little bit there. It looks like it's about a 1/4 inch thick. What they probably do with this is like the end cuts of the strip loin that they can't really sell as a steak. It's kind of weird shaped or something. They probably just slice those really thin. Got 18.24 ounces, so just over a pound. And this is a huge one. This is almost 30 ounces. So I think what I'm going to do with these is make some cheesesteaks. I'll cook them up on the, I'll season them. I don't know what I'll season them with. Maybe just salt and pepper. Cook them up on my Blackstone griddle. Get some good rolls for them and use some Cheez Whiz, because I love cheesesteaks with Cheez Whiz. And I mean, again, look at all this marbling. This is so much more marbling than you're going to find in a steak at your standard grocery store. The flavor on this is delicious. I love their American Wagyu meat. It's wonderful. Right here we have a prime Cowboy steak. It's basically a ribeye with a little extra bone stick, with a little bit extra bone. This was cut from, I always forget this, I believe the back of the ribeye primal towards the middle of the cow, because it has this huge, no, maybe it's the front. No, it's the front of the ribeye primal, up kind of by the chuck, but it has the big spinalis muscle, the cap of ribeye right there. This is some of the best bites you'll get. And the other best bite I like is right here, this muscle here. See, this is the spinalis. This is the latimus dorsi. And this right here is the complexus muscle. That's one of my favorite bites right there. Just great texture, great flavor in that one. But yeah, this is basically just a big, thick 2.7 pound ribeye steak. So you can eat all that if you really got an appetite. But that's kind of like a two-person steak. I don't think it'll feed my whole family. But I might actually have another one of these in the freezer, so it'd be a good two of these will feed. I have 4 little kids. They like steak, and my wife likes steak, and I like steak, so we eat a lot of it. But yeah, 2.7 pounds for a steak. It's thick, good 2 inches or so. And finally, we have a pork collar. Never had one of these before. This is Kurobuta pork. It's a Berkshire pig. So it's different than the standard pink pigs that we see. I think they're usually black in color, but you can see it, the meat's much darker color than what you see with regular commodity pork. And the pork collar, it kind of comes like by the front of the shoulder up by the neck, I believe. But yeah, I've never had this, but supposedly it makes great pulled pork. So I'll have to throw this on the smoker and see how it turns out. So yeah, Snake River Farms, they sell the beef. They also sell the Kurobuta pork. I've had some of the pork chops. I've had some of the pork belly and a couple other of the pork products, and those are delicious. But yeah, so this is my haul from Snake River Farms. Who we got? I mean, this will easily be a meal for my family, and probably some good leftovers. I love putting extra pulled pork into nachos or mac and cheese. Those are kind of my 2 favorite things to do with it. We got, I think there's 8 burger patties, so that would feed my family. There's at least 2 meals. This tri-tip will easily feed us with some leftovers, so that's 3 meals. The hot dogs, we could probably get a little bit more than, be a couple left over after we eat those. So that's another meal. We got a bone-in Cowboy steak. I probably need to add something else to this to make this feed our family. And we got the New York steak strips. I'm really looking forward. It's been a long time since I made a cheesesteak, and it's one of my favorite sandwiches, so I'm looking forward to eating those. But yeah, this is the haul I got from Snake River Farms, and I'm looking forward to eating it, and be watching for some more videos of this. I'll definitely do a video on the cheesesteaks. I think that would be fun. I've never done them before in the Blackstone. I've never done them with this particular cut, but I'm kind of looking forward to that. And I'll probably do one on the tri-tip. I don't know if I need to do videos on the burgers. Pork collar would be a fun one to do as well, since that's not a cut you normally see. You can't just go down to the grocery store and buy a pork collar. You have to know a specialty butcher or Snake River Farm. So if you want to try it out, there's a link in the description. You can also use code carnivore and you get to save 10% on your order. Again, I think this whole haul is probably somewhere around, oh, what would it be? $300 or so. So the meat's not cheap. A nice ribeye steak's going to cost you 60, 70, 80 bucks. I don't know. I forget what the prices on some of these are. I think the tri-tips are about 60, maybe 70. But the quality of the meat it's hard to beat. Once you taste it, you'll realize that it's worth the splurge. Sometimes you're not going to feed your family every day on this. You need to get food at the grocery store and get stuff that's a little more affordable. But it's always nice to have something like this in the freezer if you want a nice dinner, if you want to have company over and you want to kind of step your game up and feed them something a little bit nicer, or if you have a birthday, anniversary, things like that. It's worth a splurge. It's like I said, it's expensive. Not everybody's going to be able to afford it. Not everybody's going to be able to do this. I'm always blessed that I get to try this meat and share it with you. But if you can, give it a shot. Again, there's a link in the description. You can save 10% with the code carnivore. And if you have any questions about Snake River Farms, about any of the meat, how to cook any of it, just leave a comment and I'd be happy to answer. I try to answer every comment I get. There's not too many of them right now, but I try to answer all of them I can. So thanks for watching, and let me know if there's anything else I can do or any questions I can answer.